Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Orion League for Season 2, the opening round of what promises to be an absolutely fantastic championship. I am your host, Zach RC, for tonight, bringing you through all the action here at the Interlagos circuit, which has been absolutely tipping it down with rain in the last few minutes leading into this event. So it should be very exciting. Looking forward to seeing what these teams can do. In particular, our reigning Drivers' Champion, Imri, who took the title over Timo Games in the last round in Bahrain, if my memory of what I saw on TikTok was correct. Fantastic what these guys do on social media, and I'm happy they brought me along. It's my first time experiencing the Orion League, so I'm looking forward to it myself. A number of names I recognise in here, so looking forward to seeing what's about. M1 Nico is the first on the track. I have to get used to how I'm going to pronounce all of the names, especially ones I haven't seen before, so I'll do the best I can, and hopefully you guys have a bit of fun with the stream itself. You guys, any predictions to the race, what's going to happen in Season 2 over the course of the entire season, spanning the 11 races, let me know down in the chat below. And make sure to subscribe, because we may see one or two more appearances from me later on in the season if these guys enjoy what I do here tonight. So, here we go then, qualifying underway. I'm looking forward to seeing what can be done by these drivers on a soaking Interlagos circuit. McMessy in the Haas, they're leading them out onto the racetrack for the first flying run. It's looking like mainly intermediates, the rain not hard enough for the wets just yet. Whether that will change is yet to be seen. So we'll keep an eye on that as the day goes on. But McRadden on board now with the Haas of McMessy as he charges down the main straight for our lap around the Interlagos circuit. Yours, Jomo, Jose Carlos Pache. So over the line and down towards turn 1, braking at the 50-meter board for that long sweeping left-hander. I'm going immediately into center S. Good run over the curbs there. He's kept it on the racetrack. Yellow flag, and we already got a car out of the session. That's the Williams of M1 Nico out of the race. Qualifying, sorry. Down the retro post we go towards turn 4 and turn 5. Bicida do Lago. Very, very iconic left-hander here. We have Verstappen, Hamilton wheel to wheel back in 2021. Verstappen emerging on top the first time, Hamilton the second. Out of turn 5 and out up the hill towards turn 6. The right-hander of Ferradura. And into Laranja for 7, and now into the right left right complex of 8, 9 and 10. This is Pinarino. Very nice exit from McMessy, charging towards turn 10. Going right up to the left and back over to the right. Not going back over to the curbs, keeping it off those for the time being. And sweeping down now towards Junsao. The split there, 59.5. We'll see what it looks like when it comes towards the line. Up the hill. And now through turn 14, the penultimate corner on the circuit, and charging back towards the start-finish line through turn 15 to complete the first lap of qualifying. But Messi's first flying lap of the season is a 1 minute 17.9. We've got a car coming through to the line just behind them here. That is Matthew Bassett in the Ferrari. He's coming towards the home straight now, and he goes faster, 1 minute 17.3. It's a full 6/10 clear of the Haas of McMessy. And I see another car behind coming to the line of one of the Aston Martins. Have a look here, and that is CSR Wolf, which is entering turn number 1 now. Next car through to set a time. We'll keep our eyes peeled for the next one's across the line. That's Ben Spittle's teammate to McMessy. Both Haas cars have set their first flying laps. 1 minute 19.420 is what we're looking at so far. Next two cars towards the line. There is your reigning champion Imri in the AlphaTauri for the season, going third fastest, and his teammate CB Shutdown going just behind, slotting in nice and easy, and the times starting to appear on the board now. Legends goes 7th, 1 minute 19.912. So looks like Matthew Bassett's on to beat Uga car around there. That's the Aston Martin of Ratio. Just lost it there. Going out of turn 2 and into the Cover do Sol. He's managed to keep the car out of the barriers, is the most important thing. But he has gone through a bollard there. So could be trouble for everyone else on the circuit. Still, yellow flag is out. I believe that is just Imri going slowly down the straight. Oh no, it's not Imri. So excuse me. That is his teammate CB Shutdown, who's on his way through there. And I've got another Ferrari spun. Everyone is spinning out here. The rain definitely a challenge to drive. Melodic Raptor in the Ferrari. Is driving along the grass not to allow the cars behind him through, who might be on flying laps. Very chaotic start to qualifying here. The top 12 all set their times to make that 13. Matthew Bassett still on top. F1 Penguin though slots into second place, Mercedes. And so pigs do fly, the McLaren into third. Lemons now fourth. So still a long way to go in this qualifying session, but so far it's a very competitive field. Have a look at the gaps here. The top 6 separated by about just under 7/10. It's another 4 back to Imri in 7th place. Waiting on a few more cars. 10th Cannon of Raznik, Jacor, and Melodic Raptor, all yet to set their times. Or Jacor, however I'll pronounce it. And of course, M1 Nico out of the race. I'll keep saying out of qualifying. Still plenty of time left to come for us to set these laps. And the wet circuit has definitely proved to be a challenge for some of these drivers out here so far. Lemon's charging through towards the line here, but it's a much slower lap than he intended. I believe he may have backed off there on that last effort. So he's done his 2 laps in the Inter, so chances are we'll probably see him in this lap. Can't see any reason to stay on those more than 2 or 3 laps or so. CSR Wolf just crossed the line. That was for 1 minute 19.6. And Matthew Bassett improves his time on those old Inters, completely contradicting what I said a few moments ago. 1 minute 16.5. He's 1.2 seconds clear. Here comes Hypes in the Alpine. 1 minute 17.031. About half a second off and put himself far and away in front of everyone else in the field. Imri now goes up to 4th place. Very close to him, between him and Pigs. In the battle for the 4th spot. Yellow flag, sector 2. That's one of the Ferraris going slowly. I believe that is Matthew Bassett, who's picking up the pace again now. He's got Hypes behind him. Not sure if he's going for another lap or not. The circuit very busy right now. Only a few cars in the pit lane. So someone just crossed the line there. Here comes Lemons towards the line here. He's 6/10 up on his previous effort. This could be enough to put him as high as 3rd place if he tries to finish it off. Here he comes towards the line. And it is P3. Improves by 8/10 overall, but still got a bit more to do in order to improve and catch up to those cars on the front row. If he can take about a 10th or so off his next time, then he'll have enough to beat Hypes. But in terms of Matthew Bassett's time, he seems untouchable so far, as his first run comes to an end. So from these qualifying laps so far, from what we're seeing, there's no real team that has both of their drivers up there. It's sort of an even spread. A CSI Wolf retiring from the session there. I believe I'm not sure if he's crashed or if he's just come back into the pits. I believe he's retired in the pit lane, so that'll be the end of his session. And 16th would be the best he can hope for. At lowest, he can still very easily finish in last place. The ratio definitely needs to improve. We need to see 10th Cannon and Melodic Raptor set laps. So the lowest he can go is 19th, if you'll excuse me. Lemon's not improving this time, but Imri is. Imri exactly 2/10 back from Lemons. Of course, the reigning champion looking to set the early precedent once again and get his title defence off to a positive start. He comes towards that 2nd sector split, and he's up by 3.5 tenths now, so there's definitely enough for him to beat Lemons. And might even be enough to put him on the front row here. Not long left to go, about halfway through the session here. Here comes Imri now, charging towards the line. We'll see where he puts himself. 117.156. He's lost a lot of time there in that last sector. A lot of time. And he stays in 4th place, but he's closed dramatically on Lemons. But still the outside of that 2nd row. Ben Spittle's up to 5th place now, 1 minute 17.3. Yellow flag, that's one of the McLarens off the racing line. And that is Jake OR. And I see Legends there in the pit lane looking at soft tyres. I think it's probably a bit too early for that. Not sure what the plan is for him. Radius and Mercedes starting his next lap. His best effort so far, win at 18.17. Plenty of time still to improve. Six-tenths up in the first sector. So you can maintain that pace That'll put him perhaps inside the top 10 if he's good enough. We'll see what the rest of the lap looks like. Saw someone cross the line a few moments ago. F1 Penguin went second fastest there, 1 minute 16.9. Only the second driver to break into the high 16s. As Matthew Bassett comes back out onto the racetrack now, looking to further improve on that time. The times, if the rain is drying, I believe that the rain has slowed down. I've slowed down considerably or stopped. Then I dare say we could be getting potentially, depending how quickly, if it dries and if it does, how quickly, a bit of slight dry running later in the session. Unsure if it's going to rain during the race as well, which could throw another spanner in the works for these guys. So Hype's now down into third place, knocked off the front row. Ratio improving here. 59.1 is second sector. He's a bit deep there into turn 12. So one of the Haas cars bearing down them. And we shall see what the time looks like for Ratio. He's coming into the pit lane. He's abandoning the lap. And that is a strange decision given that he could have definitely improved that. Perhaps even put himself as perhaps around just inside the top 15 with that. He may have just thrown away a very good run there. Unsure as to if he missed anything on the lap in terms of damage, but a very odd decision to make. It's Matthew Bassett then. Into turn 4, improving only just by about 100th of a second there. See how things look for him in sector 2. Yellow flag, and that is one of the Haas cars. Majority of cars now in the pit lane here. Again, a relatively quiet period on the racetrack. And that Haas, without doubt, is going to have to move out of the way. And he did not move out of the way quick enough. But no matter, it's still another 10th or so improvement. Oh, and Matthew Bassett almost goes around. He's drifted the car through the corner. That was quite impressive there. But I dare say he may have lost a crucial amount of time there. Especially being stuck behind the Haas like that. So I don't think we'll be seeing him improve anytime soon. Does not improve. Lost a lot of time there. 1.7 seconds down now after he was about a 10th up out of sector 2. So that skid definitely cost him time. A lot more time than we might have thought. Hype's meanwhile, though, is... Oh, he was half a second up. I dare say he may have lost out on that massively here. He's had a bit of a moment himself coming up the hill. He'd be lucky to keep it on the low 17s for this lap. That's a very good lap potentially thrown away there. So an unfortunate mistake, but hopefully he can bounce back from. To give us a closer end to qualifying. Things are going a lot closer now. Top 10 covered by just under a second. It's just quite a gap between Matthew Bassett and the rest of the field. 3 tenths is a lot in Grand Prix racing. Yellow flag sector 1, that is the teammate to Hypes, I believe. That's Kappa Cams. Matthew's backed off considerably here. Keep an eye on Hypes. See what he can do. I believe he may have also backed off himself. I could be wrong. He hasn't got much battery left, so he won't be looking too much for that push up the hill, which he might be needing. We'll see what the split looks like here when he comes through. He's half second, he's 6 tenths up. This could be pole position. Now he needs that last, he can't make the mistake this time. I don't think he will make the mistake this time. This could be his lap. Hype's now charging towards the line. He's put it into the pits. And for the second time here, we're seeing 2 cars who have been on fairly solid laps coming into the pit lane. That could have been pole position. Melodic Raptor now retiring from the session now. And Matthew Bassett, his teammate, at the complete other end of the timing screen. Penguin's still sitting pretty there in second place. Hype's third, Lemons fourth, and Imri fifth. But Lemons is improving here. Oh, he's 7 tenths up. And he's on fresh inters. There's no way he chooses to pit this lap. This could be pole here from Lemons. Up towards the line. We'll see what it looks like. It is pole by just under 4 tenths. And all of a sudden, Matthew Bassett's pole is in serious danger. But he's also on lap and he's improving himself. Pole position could be about to change hands once again. Going right back into the hands of Matthew Bassett, and it does. 1 minute 15.7. Fantastic time there. The track definitely getting drier here from what I can see. So these guys all looking to get back, should be looking to get back on the racetrack again. And we could see the times start to drop like flies here. This could be a very hectic end to this qualifying session. The opening qualifying session of Season 2. Yellow flag from the Alfa Romeos has gone off. And that is Lemons off onto the grass there. I think just trying to get around as he can to ensure he gets another lap in. I'm not sure. I think he definitely will get another lap. And he may have done a bit of damage to those intermediates in the process of going across the grass there. Penguin's invalidated here. He's got to get back round in time for having another go. Could be in trouble there. Ratio into 5th place there. Ben Smith will choose to retire in the pit lane. Everyone either on out laps or on current laps. Except for Lemons now into the pits. 45 seconds to go. Jake O.R. trying to warm up his tyres as much as he can here before going for that crucial last run. He sits P11 at the moment. And anything could still happen. Anyone could still walk away with pole position. It could just depend on who's last to the line. Imri is 3 tenths up at the end of the first sector. And that'll be enough to put him in 3rd place right now. But it's not over yet. Anyone could still swipe it. Matthew going from one last lap here. Lemons into the pit lane. It's a front row start. He's all he's hoping for. Penguin's about later, but he's got time to go for one more. He's got 10 seconds to spare. So he makes it to the line there. Pigs do fly, making it. Does Kappa Cans make it too? He does. So everyone is on a lap now. Except for Lemons in the pit lane. The checkered flag's now fallen. We wait for the next few cars to come round. The first of which being CB shut down. And the AlphaTauri, and he's out! Major incident there as Rachel comes towards the line. He's invalidated his lap. Behind him there is Legends, who stays in 14th place. The next car through the Haas of McMessy over the line for P9. Imri into second there, puts himself on the front row. Kappa Cam's 5th place grid penalty for a collision with Radius. I see an Alpine off there. As Hype to spun at the last corner. And Matthew looks set to further increase his grip on pole position as he charges towards the line to complete this qualifying session over the right-hand side of the wall. Doesn't improve, but keeps it on pole. And here we go. Penguin is up in the 2nd sector. But it's not. He needs a big push at this last bit. Up towards the line. He doesn't have enough for pole. He's got enough for P4 though. Pigs do fly over the line. Goes P5. Jake, no front wing on that McLaren as he comes towards the line. Kappa Cams that penalty. Will start dead last. And Radius has several cars in his way here as he comes to the end of his qualifying lap to cap off this session. Off into the pit lanes. There you have it then. Matthew Bassett on pole position, and he'll lead our reigning champion Imri to turn 1. How close that was. Half a tenth separating them in the end. On their best laps. That lap set on what are now 5 lap old tyres. Sheer brilliance from everyone in the field. The gap now a lot larger compared to what it was before. And there's your pole sitter. The first pole sitter of Orion Season 2. So we'll go through your top 10 here before we go for the intermission. Matthew Bassett on pole position, alongside him reigning champion Imrie. Lemon starts in 3rd alongside F1 Penguin. Pigs Do Fly in 5th, Raznik in 6th. Hype 7th, Ratio 8th, McMessy in 9th, and Real QPF rounds out the top 10. So those are your top 10 starters, the top half of the field that will lead us to the first corner in Brazil in a few minutes' time. So we're back with you very shortly for the start. Well, apologies, I've missed the start there, completely on me. We're underway here in Season 2 of Orion, and CV Shutdown already around there. Matthew Bassett leads the way from Imrie in 2nd place, Lemons in 3rd. The heavens have now opened. The sun has passed the clouds, and we are underway. It's unsure whether the formation lap was on or off. I've got my answer now. It's 2 cars there, Kappa Camps and CB Shutdown, both involved in incidents in the opening lap, opening phase of this race. So it appears we were earlier than expected. Regardless, we'll continue pushing on here. Everyone more or less moving into single file in this opening lap. Imrie under pressure from Lemons in the race for P2. Yellow flag for the back. Unsure as to who that's for. It's been cleared very quickly. We're back into racing. Ben Spittles and 10th Cannon side by side. 10th Cannon didn't get a lot of running during qualifying. It's gone way too deep there in turn 12. As up front, Matthew comes in to lead the first lap of this race. All single file. Lemons off onto the right hand side of the racetrack there. He's got around Imrie for 2nd place. Matthew already into a lead of about a second or so, and that's very crucial given what's about to happen. Given that the ERS will come into play, sorry, excuse me, the DRS will come into play on the next lap. And that'll make things a lot closer in terms of the action. Real QPF looking at Pigs Do Fly, trying to make something happen. Look to the outside, Pigs fends the inside quite brilliantly there. Messi trying to seek an advantage, but has Radius going charging up his inside. Won't get around him yet. Stays in line for the moment. Lemon's closing the gap here. Oh, skidding a bit off the last corner. And Imrie takes full advantage, goes sidling around the outside. The reigning champion now back in second place, but this squabble has allowed Matthews to get even further. He's got 1.6 second lead as we begin lap number 3. And here comes F1 Penguin up on the outside, trying to take both cars. He won't take either one of them. Lemon stays in front in third place, and we'll have DRS come into play with Imrie here. And he goes charging right on through. Just two cars opting with the soft tyres off the start of this race. Those two cars being Ratio and McMessy. Everyone else opting for the mediums and a few of them on the hards. Ratio passing Raznik there. Yellow flag for the back, and that is the Ferrari from Melodic Raptor, who is around at the exit of turn number 7 and going into 8. Recover the car easily. I have to wait for the camera angle to change if there's any damage done to that Ferrari. Nothing on the end plates. Looks okay for now. It's all single file as Lemon sets the fastest up of the race here. There goes Hype to the outside of Raznik. And might try it on Ratio 2. Very, very gutsy from the Alpines. They go through turn 1 and a slight touch to the side pod of that Aston Martin. Like Messi gets the first time penalty of the season. That's 3 seconds for track limits, which could be a problem for a lot of drivers today. Given the limits, what the limits are like, a run into Lagos. Hypes to the outside now. Going for it again. And Melodic Raptor retiring in the pit lane here. Out to the Grand Prix. Hype's getting very, very antsy. He wants to make a move happen as quickly as he can to avoid losing touch with the 4 leaders. I say 4 now because Matthews' lead is slowly decreasing. It's gone down to 1.3 seconds. Lemon's getting to work now, getting his head down. The anticipation for the season, that's over with now. Got to put our work clothes on and we've got to get busy. We'll come back up the hill here to complete the 4th of the 36 lap to make up this Grand Prix. F1 Penguin down the main straight now. Look, he's trying to take away third place from Imrie, who is powerless against the DRS and that Silver Arrow. But he's still there alongside him, going into turn 1. Into center rest they go. Imrie gives in, but now goes to the switchback and has DRS. He goes in the offensive now. On the inside, going towards turn 4. AlphaTauri versus Mercedes. And it's the AlphaTauri that wins. And there goes, looking two abreast behind them. Raznik trying to pass Ratio. I think he may have locked up a little bit there. Pigs do fly behind them in 8th place. Rookie Pef and Messi in 10th. McMessy in 10th place. Radius is behind them, still trying to find a way around that Haas, but to no avail. That gap between the two leaders now opening up a little bit again. And Imrie might be a sitting duck here on the main straight. Not just to one, but if he's unlucky, to 2 cars. Potentially going into turn 4, because Hype's want to close that gap. F1 Penguin is closing the gap. He looks to the outside now, down the main straight, and once again goes through into 3rd place. Ben Spittle to get to a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. That's the second one today. Both Haas cars now with track limits violations to their name. And they'll pay the price for coming to the end of the Grand Prix. Haas only just holding on to 10th place right now. There you go, all the way onto the grass there, going towards turn 4. Almost on the grass. Kept it away. Keeps the nose clean. CSR Wolf gets a penalty there. And Kappa Cams with a 3-second time penalty as well. So 4 of them with unfortunate offences against them that they'll have to pay back at the end of the race. Of course, track limits penalties you cannot give back during your pit stops. So those will be added on to their finishing time. And Lemons is closing that gap, but as they go towards the detection point, again, it's not enough. Yellow flag. And that is Ratio round. Off onto the grass into turn 12. Recovers it. Rejoins just in front of Legends. Has been held up massively. Gets around the Aston Martin without too much trouble. And we'll have DRS as well. So it should get away quite easily. Ratio, crucial mistake there. Puts him out the points. As Radius passes McMessy into turn 1. M1 Nico looking to make a move on Pigs Do Fly. DRS train starting to form, but the McLaren not close to get good enough toe off the Red Bull in front. There goes the Williams to the outside. He's getting very close. There's a bit of contact there. And there goes M1 Nico way off the track through turn 4. Rejoins into 5. Has to regroup and go for that again on the next lap. 3-car train here. F1 Penguin leads Imri and Hypes. Raznik leads the train behind. And that's a DRS train that was involving these guys all jockeying for position. And Lemons is fully focused now. No threats behind him. 2.3 seconds back to Penguin. And he is now looking. He's got his eyes completely and firmly set on the race leader Matthew Bassett, who's been largely unchallenged since he got off the line. Lemons here, now pushing into DRS range, making sure this race is not a mere procession for the Ferrari to open up Season 2. He's got to get as close as he can here, especially when they go through the Center S. He may have just lost out this time by about a tenth or so. Through compare from Raznik going side by side through turn 1. Good exit for the Williams. Pigs Do Fly looking for an opening now. He's gotten away from the Williams behind him, and we'll focus on the Williams in front. Gets a good toe. I might try and take it. Might try and thread the needle here if he gets enough room. Not going to go for it. Keep it into 6th place. Maybe a bit of contact there. Everyone gets through nice and clean, but the Red Bull goes wide. And again, Pigs Do Fly cutting it very close indeed there. Almost losing control of the car. Yellow flag, and that's Jake around. In between turns 6 and 7 and rejoining perhaps. If Ghosting had been on, that could have been a very nasty incident for Ratio. And now Ben Smith will get involved as well. Seems Jake's have to cede that place and try and go from again. Now this time up front, Lemons is within DRS range. So that gap will start closing dramatically here. Down the main straight he comes. The gap growing smaller and smaller as F1 Penguin closes back in on Imri. These two have been locked in a battle for the final podium place, and now these two cars in front will be locked in a battle for the lead in about a lap or two here. Should things get any closer? Pigs Do Fly down to 9th. Yellow flag, and that is Ratio around again the main straight, and there he goes off the racetrack and off into the pit lane entry. He was very lucky not to hit the barriers, but he's down to the back of the pack and coming into the pit lane. What will be, by my count, the first pit stop of the season, and a 5-second penalty is feeding in the pit lane. He's out of the race, and the virtual safety car gets deployed. And as Lemons is closing in, this battle position is quickly paused, just briefly. Lost 2 cars in this one, waiting now for the VSC to end so we can get back to racing once more. And there we go, back to the green flag, and we're underway on the end of lap number 9, the start of lap 10. And Matthew picking up right where he left off. 1.3 seconds out of the advantage. He got a fantastic restart compared to Lemons, who's dropped a few tenths alone on this one straight. The curve to Sol they go. And Imri being threatened here by not 1 but 2 cars on this next straight. This could get very dicey indeed. Hype tries in the middle. He's going to go 3 wide. And the Alpine pushes in front of both cars there. 5th to 3rd. Fantastic move from the Alpine driver. Hype set into the podium places and Imri down to 5th now. And there's Raznik in 6th place, who has his hands full right now with 4 cars behind him. The rest of the point scorers all in this little train. It's another 6.8 seconds back to Legends in 11th place now. Several cars into the pit lane here. Messi is in. Jake is in for a front wing change. And 10th Cannon also in. We'll see what tyres they put on. Hard tyres looking like the tyre choice from Messi's gone for another set of softs here. with an unorthodox strategy from some of the drivers further down in the field. Penguin now getting back around Hypes, who's now taking his turn for down to 5th place. And Imri was trying to take advantage. Battery deployed, uses overtake ever so slightly there, going down up towards turn number 1. DRS deployed, looks to the inside, going into that first corner. Who's last on the stop as they come very close to contact? And Hypes goes way wide there. Perhaps not about breaking himself. The two Williams going at it into turn 1. So be careful here. Rule number 1 of Formula 1, do not crash into your teammate. Raznek now with a run on his fellow Williams. They charge towards turn 4. Into the city of the logger they come. No contact. They stay side by side though. Spectacular racing between these two. No one's giving an inch into turn 7. This could get, sorry, into turn 6. This could get very tight indeed. And Raznek backs out of it. Hypes the penalty here. One of the first front runner to receive one. And that will not help in this fight with this little train. As Pigs Do Fly gets one for himself. And goes Radius around his outside. And got a spin for the back. That is CB shutdown once again. So a solid job so far recovering to P14. Of course, given there have been stops made for a few cars further down the order. Lemons is closing that gap, but it's not enough right now. Penguin closing back on Imri. Down the straight they come here. Penguin looking towards turn number 4. Doesn't get enough for a run. No momentum against the might of the reigning champion in the AlphaTauri. Is keeping these two at bay. But for how long? Oh, there goes Imri around! The reigning champion spins out and down the order here. Down into P8. That could be P9 or P10 here. And that was very close indeed. He almost unghosted right in front of those two. The Mercedes and the McLaren. And with that, the race for third is broken up ever so slightly. And Lemons still seeking to try and close that gap. He's not got enough just yet to get back into the DRS range. When he did get back into it, the virtual safety car was deployed, and that sort of lost him any momentum he had. And he hasn't got a lot of battery here. He's got about 10% left, whereas Matthew has got about 3/4 of it still in the tank. We're only a third of the way into this one. A lot of racing still to come. 1.2 seconds the margin. Further down here, Raznek trying to close back on his teammate. Pigs Do Fly on the inside of Imri here, who's trying to fight back. And the champ cannot get past the McLaren on this occasion. Now we are getting to the point of the race where we should be looking at some of the medium runners making their first pit stops. We never know, they might try and push it a bit longer here. Hard to tell when I can definitely go to about like 20 or so, perhaps even like 25 at that, if they manage them. But the medium tyre cars can't seem lasting too much longer. They're probably getting closer and closer now to the window where they want to stop. Legends with a penalty here. Ben Smith's just passed him for 11th. Imri's fallen back here as Radius and Pigs Do Fly chase each other down towards turn 4. Mercedes closing it as he looks to the outside. Last on the brakes is the McLaren, who keeps it right on the curbing there and stays in front. Very well taken corner and defended the inside beautifully. But Radius will come back at him now into turn number 6. And these two squabbling will allow Imri to close back in ever so slightly. Put himself back in DRS range and give him another chance to try and pass. So if we're quite split up now, the pack very, very stretched. Lemon's still not close enough just yet. He needs a he's just done about half a tenth or so in order to get close enough. But turn 1 is not where he is strong compared to Matthew. He's lost about a tenth there alone in braking for that first corner. Matthew a lot later in the stoppers. Yellow flag, and that's the McLaren around of Jake. Once again, find himself a victim of the exit of turn number 7. Recovers it though, no damage done to that car. He can continue on. Matthew Bassett staying in the lead, and Lemons struggling to close that gap. He's led every single lap so far in the Ferrari. And Hypes has pulled away from Penguin. Bassett closing back in on Real Cupith. At number 16 now, 10th cannon passing Capicams. These two going at it in the race for P15. No points on off here, just pride. Tenth cannon gets in front. Oh, there goes the Alpine going way deep into turn number 9. 3-car train continues on here. Imrie now well firmly planted in DRS range. Lemon just dropped back massively. Radius to the outside, going into turn 4. They come close to blows. Again, Picks do fly with fantastic defensive skills there. He keeps himself in front. And again, defends the inside in case Radius tries anything. And how close will we get into those first pit stops for the majority of the field? Nearing the halfway stage of the race now. And the track's starting to cloud over a bit. Unsure if we'll see a return for the rain that we saw in qualifying. It could shake things up a bit. Yellow flag again, sector 2, and that is Capicams around turn 8. Recovers it across the grass and back onto the racetrack, but down in P18, last of the running cars. Of course, Ratio and Melodic Raptor out of the race quite a while ago. Imrie around Picks do fly, and Legends crashes the car, and the safety car gets deployed. Here we go. And we should see a mad dash into the pit lane now. Matthew Bassett is in. Lemons is also coming in. This is expected. The track definitely clouding over considerably. First pit stop of the season. Matthew gets out. Let's change onto hard tyres. And Lemons out behind Matthew once again. Double stack for Alpine. Capicams chose to pit. He was able to reach it before the safety car came out. So Hypes losing a place or two there on the racetrack. Raznik stayed out. He's now up to 3rd. Imrie's in. Making a change onto medium tyres. And Hassef played that quite nicely indeed there. Just about enough space between them on the racetrack in order to make that stop work. A front wing change as well. So looking at things here, 3 drivers are yet to make their compulsory pit stops. apologies, make that 2 now. CSR Wolf and Raznik. Both starting on hard tyres. Yet to come in. So what could we see in terms of weather? Is there any risk potentially going into the second half of this Grand Prix? As we do cross the halfway mark as Matthew crosses the line on to lap 19 and 18 more laps to go. For those of you who are near here and are enjoying the stream, make sure then do get subscribed for any future streams, be it in ORION or in I can't speak, in any other leagues that I do, and of course the content I make just on my own. I'm sure that I'll get in the neck for promoting my own stuff while I'm here, but you take every chance you get. We're just waiting now for the pack to close back up and get back to racing again. So now CSR Wolf made his stops. So only Raznik still on the racetrack on the tyres he started on. So he may lose a lot of track position when we get back underway. I think it's a given that we'll lose track position now. Went on 5 more cars here. If we're lucky, we might be able to get going this lap. I'm thinking that next lap. So we'll be going on lap 21 with 16 laps to go. And I'm thinking definitely restarting on the next lap. There we go then, that's a very late call, a safety car coming into this lap. Well, there's not much time to dwell on it. Matthew backing everyone up here, waiting to go through turn 15, waiting for that moment to pull away, and there it is. But Lemons is right with him. Matthew pulling away. He's only a few tenths clear though. Lemons was on his game then. Hype's making moves here, going into turn 1. Capicam's ghosting there. And Penguin loses out massively here. QPF around the outside. And Pig's new flag might try to take him a second as well. Yellow flag. And that is CB Shutdown, who again finds himself around or in some kind of incident. It's particularly on a restart in the Center S. And Matthew has not got away as much as he might have liked here. Oh, and there's contact. Hype's got a bit too jumpy there. Yellow flag again, and that is Imri and 10th cannon around. Alpha Tower with a nightmare restart under this safety car. And Kappa Cams still sitting there separating Hypes from the top 3. Lemons and Matthew have really pulled away here to a huge advantage. 3 seconds back to QPF in 3rd place. Fastest lap there, 1 minute 10.2 on those fresh mediums. Oh, and there goes Radius around at turn 1. Down to P15 now. CB Shutdown with a 3-second penalty now. Will he let his teammate go here? Yes, he will. Good team play from AlphaTauri. The reigning champion goes through into P13. Well, now with a bit of work to do is run down the leaders. Raznik, extremely slow there. Radius practically shoving CB Shutdown towards the corner. Looks to the inside. That's very, very dicey indeed from the Mercedes. He's made it work there. Coming close to blows here. Oh, and there goes contact once again. CB Shutdown now falling away. And Raznik will try and take a bite if he can. Matthew Bassett again with the fastest lap, and DRS now deployed. Kappa Cam's off into the pit lane. Yellow flag. And that's Kappa Cam's out of the race. And I dare say, ladies and gentlemen, we're starting to see our first few drops of rain on the circuit. And this could indeed change the face of this Grand Prix with 14 more laps left to go. There's too much time left in this one. If it gets too hard there's too much time left to risk staying out on the dry tyres. Too much room for error. However, if it doesn't rain too hard, we might just see that. We'll see how quickly it falls on the circuit and how quickly the standing water appears. So we'll keep an eye out. But the rain definitely starting to fall here. Yellow flag, and that's Kappa Cam's retired car still out on the racetrack. As the AI so loves to do. Matthew Bassett now to an even bigger lead than it was against Lemons earlier. Is around 1.5 seconds earlier. Now it's about 2.5. Real QPF closing on hypes. Red Bull driver through sheer grit and determination has put himself in position to try and nab a podium. He's been up 6 places. Only 2 drivers have been up more. Those drivers being CSR Wolf and M1 Nico, who started at the back of the grid. QPF started mid-pack. He started in P10 in that Red Bull, and now he's looking to try and start a podium. But that penalty there will not help his case. Now those penalties will move F1 Penguin back into position. He's the one car around himself to not have one. Matthew Bassett and Lemons don't have any either. And Monico now, the outright driver who's getting the most places, is up 8, taking the place off of CSR Wolf, the driver he was tied with. 13 more laps left to go in this thing. You can definitely see the rain starting to build on the circuit. But it's not enough just yet. We're not seeing anything like spray, nothing like that of the sort. The question now then, who will be the first to bite the bullet and come into the pits? Will anyone be the first to go into the pits? Pixie Fly closing massively here on F1 Penguin into turn 1. And Ben Spittle's into the pit lane. And no doubt intermediate tyres are on the cards. And McMessy also in. I fear that he may lose a bit of time. He has lost a bit of time because there's a... Oh, it's a very odd glitch there. McMessy now making his change, and he's away. And Ready is away too. Raznek went into on the last lap. And you can definitely see the water starting to build on the racetrack. We could be in for a mad dash in the pit lane to make the change onto intermediates. But for now, it's a struggle back to the pit lane for everyone on dry tyres. Cannot make a mistake now. He could jeopardise any chance of a good finish. Both of our 2 leaders maintaining themselves very nicely indeed, and I dare say we'll see him come down pit road this time. Matthew in, and Lemons will join him. And I know Lemons going in for another lap. Well, this could be a huge development in the race between the 2 leaders. Lemons trying to get a jump on Matthew here. If it rains too hard and those hard tyres end up with problems, as Pigs do fly gets a penalty for speeding in the pit lane here. Matthew Bassett is away. Hype's in, intermediate tyres going on. Pigs do fly also in. Everyone's coming in. M1 Nico, 5-second penalty. Imri is in. CSR Wolf is in, who gets a penalty himself. CB Shutdown stays out. 10th Cannon is in. Lemons then trying a bit of a gamble here, going out for one more lap. DRS disabled. He's 16 seconds behind him right now, is Matthew, but he's closing that gap already. And I dare say the gamble from Lemons has not worked perhaps as well as he thought it would. Inter's now the tyre of choice. CB Shutdown, of course, stayed out. He's mid-pack right now. He should fall to the bottom of the order at this stage. Matthew Bassett around the outside of Jake. And Lemons is staying out again. This is a big risk he's taking on. Does he plan to stay at least to the end of the race? He might just do that. Rookie Pep perhaps might cut off Penguin a little bit there as they come towards the pit lane. Matthew charging on through. Everyone Penguin with a 3-second penalty. Sorry, a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Matthew now back into second. Jake gets a penalty for himself as well. And this is a big risk now being taken on by that of Orion Lemons. And a risk he can't back out of now. CB shutdown with a penalty himself. Everyone except for one car on the circuit is on intermediates except for our race leader Orion Lemons. And long-time race leader Matthew Bassett hunting him down. Don't go anywhere. This could be an absolutely classic finish. It may be a foregone conclusion at this point that Matthew eventually is going to catch Lemons. But can Lemons keep him behind? My head says no, if I'm being entirely honest. A gap already down to 9.3 seconds. Like that 8.6, he's closing the gap very, very quickly indeed. Further back, Emery just behind M1 Nico there in the race for P9. Hasn't really recovered since that spin when he was racing for the 3rd spot. And now Lemons into the pit lane. And those extra laps may have jeopardised him quite a lot here. In's going in the car. Perhaps the plan was to hope for a safety car. He should emerge on the racetrack perhaps around 4th or 5th. It's looking more like to be 3rd now I say it. Depends where Pigs Do Fly emerges. They're side by side. And Lemons emerging in 4th place here. But thanks to the penalties, not actually that far off the podium at all. F1 Penguin and Road QPF going side by side. Penguin emerges on top. So everyone now on inters. Lemons on the freshest inters. He's 14.3 seconds off the lead. His mission now be to try and close that down as best he can. He's looking at 2nd place right now, but you can tell he wants to win. He's going to try and go for as much as he can. With no DRS though, it comes down to how much battery you got saved. And he's got a lot of it. Yellow flag, that's Jake around once again. As Lemons passes his teammate. Into turn 1 they come. And Pigs Do Fly will try and come back at Lemons if he can. But he's fallen away already. So Lemons now pushes on to his next target on his hit list. That target being Hypes in P2 in the Alpine. 14 seconds to close on Matthew. With just over 8 laps to go. Everyone else quite spaced out here. No real battles of position going on, save for Emery chasing Nico. Rookie perfectly struggling there out of turn 7. In Spinarino. That gap is closing. It's not by much, but it's definitely closing between Lemons and Matthew. It's down to 13.8 now. But Hypes has fallen away, without doubt. That gap was 9 seconds a couple laps ago, it's now 10. He's struggling to maintain control of the car. We start to wonder the question, will there be any call for wet tyres? I doubt there will be this late in the race. Lemons Alfa Romeo twitching this way and that on the braking. Looking to charge back through the field here in the Brazilian monsoon. He's just about 3 seconds back or so from Hypes in 2nd place. CB shutdown passes CSR Wolf in the race of P14 and pulls away quite rapidly as they go into turn 4. Imrie still struggling to take M1 Nico and the Williams. No progress made with it. He's still about half a second back. Just can't get enough of a run anywhere to really try and go for it. Lap number 30 here. Matthew still leads. He's led the majority of laps today. He's in complete control. F1 Penguin passing Ben Spittles into turn 1. Those two going at it. There's contact and around goes the Haas. And big shunt there. I thought that was a shunt. Keep F seems to have ghosted through, but still somehow hit him. And all of a sudden the Haas is thrust into a fight with the Williams and the AlphaTauri. And one Nico gets through. And Imrie will look to try and get through as well. And the race will now be P7. Oh, and there goes both of them. Imrie hits him. Any damage to the AlphaTauri? Looks like he's gotten away with it. Ben recovers the car. Down to P12 now. Jake making the pass. Is one place at the points. Matthew now looks to be on course for the victory, as he has been for the last 10 laps or so. And Lemons still closing the gap to Hypes. Gap now just under 2 seconds. He's got to manage his battery in order to try and close as much as he can, especially on those straights. Mistake there through turn 4. Ben Spittles into the pit lane. And he's out of the race. He's calling it there. So 15 cars still left in the running. Might see with a 3-second time penalty there. Oh, and there's Hypes around. Second place car spins it. And Lemons now has a clear road in front of him. 5 laps to try and close that gap. Which looks to be an impossible task. Matthew in complete control, especially in the wet. We saw how good he was in these conditions in qualifying. And the gamble for Lemons to go on to 2 lap younger intermediates has not paid off for him. He's not closing at all as much as he might have hoped. 7 yellow flags all over the shop here, but everything's all clear. Back to racing once again. And the gap's starting to close now. It's down to 12.6 seconds. That's almost the lowest we've seen it. What is going on with Matthew here? He seems to be a lot slower than he was earlier on. He's losing a considerable amount of time. Not quite sure what's happening to him. It's lost about a second or so now. Nevertheless, he's got 4 more laps to go. Enough for lead to get away with losing a second or 2. Jake out of the pit lane here. Fresh into what's going on. F1 Penguin to the outside of Pigs Do Fly. Down the main straight they come. Keeping on a hype, looking to try and recover to try and take a podium finish. He needs to pull a second clear of Penguin and keep where he is in terms of Pigs Do Fly. Let's see, dropping back. The gap between the 2 leaders now down to 12 seconds. Needs to be a mistake from some kind from Matthew in order for Lemon to stand a chance of winning this race. I'm not seeing it though. I really can't see him making a mistake in these closing laps. He's done such a fantastic job in these conditions in qualifying and during the second half of the race as well. He's just 3 laps away from winning the first race of Orion Season 2. Lemon's now crossing the line. The gap 11.5 seconds. It's definitely closing. But I feel like he needs like another 5 or 6 laps added on in order to stand a chance. As Penguins and Pixel Fly go at it once again. Into turn 1. And Monico passing Rookie Pef. It goes back to the inside of the first corner. There's contact and almost the Rebel going around, but he saves it. Good recovery there. But he did throw himself into that one quite late. ERS deployed as he looks around trying to find an opening. He goes to the outside. Into turn 4. Looking for a switchback, but no luck. Stays behind the Williams. As it stands, it's just the one team who are going to score, have both their drivers score in this race. That's going to be Mercedes. Yellow flag. That's M1 Nico around. CSO all for the penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Two laps to go in front. Lemon's doing all he can to close that gap down. CSO off onto soft tyres here. And that may be a regrettable choice. And DRS now re-enabled. The rain has stopped. The track now starting to dry out, but it won't be dry enough, of course, for slicks. And there's no point picking for slicks for that to go. So the race definitely looks to be over, with a lap left still to run. Matthew Bassett here, 1 lap away from winning the first race of the season. Imrie there in 6th place has recovered it as the Ferrari starts the final lap. Lemons here, 11 seconds back. It's been a valiant effort, but since the rain's come down, he's hoping the gap will go down, and it just hasn't done that. Matthew's been unstoppable here in these wet conditions. It's been quite a while since I've seen an opening race as one-sided as this one. Lemons gave him a fairly good run at the start of this Grand Prix, but he wasn't to be caught. And he's half a lap away from winning the Season 2 opener. So there's a sector and a half more to go. Gap between the two leaders 11 seconds now. Yellow flag for Haas in front. That is with Messi on the soft tyres, struggling for grip. Matthew slides it out of turn number 12 and comes charging up the hill once more for the final time. And Matthew Bassett will run to the line to win the opening race here of Orion Season 2. After a spectacularly dominant drive, Lemons comes up the hill. 2nd place for him in his Alfa Romeo. Definitely a brilliantly executed race, but the Ferrari was just out of his reach. JKR and CSO Wolf over the line 14th and 15th, and Penguin comes over the line 3rd and just holds on over Hypes to take it. Pixel Fly finishes 5th, make that 6th as Imrie crosses the line. Rookie Pef 7th, M1 Nico in 8th, but will finish in 9th by my count, and potentially even 10th. I think he should be okay. Ratnick's quite a way back. So Ratnick will take the final point on offer. So 2 teams with 2 drivers scoring points, Mercedes and Williams. So good start to their season and a good start for our podium finishers. The track starts to dry out once more. Well, it's been a fantastic race then. I think there can only be one driver to have earned Driver of the Day. Brand new feature for Orion in Season 2. I think it only has to go to this man. Who, I mean, this race was closer then we may not have given it to him, but he's been simply on fire since we got underway tonight. From the moment the lights went out, he's been in complete control, and I'd say he definitely deserves this first race. We'll see if we can get a word from him here in a few moments' time. We'll just try and get to speak to Lemons and to F1 Penguin as well. Hope you guys all enjoyed that race. I know I did. If you did, make sure to subscribe, because this may not be the last time you see Orion on this channel. I've definitely enjoyed my first Orion race. And there he is then, your first winner of the season. Matthew Bassett. Lemons home in second, F1 Penguin home in third to complete the podium. Very, very enjoyable Grand Prix indeed, and we'll see if we can get to speak to all 3 of these guys. So we can go through the final results here. If we get perhaps a bit of time just to cap things off. And the results won't show up on my screen, which is insanely helpful. So there you have it then, though. That is your Brazilian Grand Prix. We'll stick around here for the post-race interviews. Just get set up now. Bear with me just a moment. So we'll get the post-race interviews going here after what's quite frankly a fantastic race. Hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. And we'll wait to see if we can get any of them into the voice chat here. Oh, we have an arrival, and that would be Lemons finished in second place. Lemons, you'll bear with us a moment. We'll see if we can get the other 2 in before we get started.
Yeah, sure.
it, yeah, on my last 2 races here, so it's been a bit, but I thought Orion Lemons a bit more of thought in strategy. That 2 extra laps on the harness that you did, iffy from my point of view, but it's a good race other than that. Put up a good fight in the first few laps, and the safety car kind of ruined it after that, but yeah. I was trying to open up a gap before the weather says, because it's saying 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes, like every 5 minutes. And then, of course, from quali, I felt confident to set up with the car. So I just kind of used what I knew from quali, put it into the race, and then turn 4, always I lost a couple tenths from there, but my higher downforce setup thing I had kind of came in the middle part of that, so I could pull out a gap before we got DRS. The gap was big enough. It's a mid circuit for me. It's not my best, it's not my worst. I've got decent race pace around there, definitely good quality pace around there. So looking forward to them. Too early, I think. I think that'll be more tighter because Brazil's one of my better circuits in this game. Although I don't feel as confident as I did last game, but it is definitely still one of my better circuits.
Fair enough. We'll perhaps look forward to see you back up here next week. And I've just been told my mic's been on mute for the interviews. I can hear you guys, so it's not a concern there. So apologies for that. Right. So yeah, Matthew, congratulations, and we'll move on now to our second place finisher, who was Lemons there in the Alfa Romeo. Lemons, congratulations, mate. First podium of the season. Quite a bit of a lonely race for you there. Talk us through it.
Yeah. I pretty much spent the whole race just trying to get within 1 second of Matthew. He was on the harder tyre as well, so it just shows his pace really. But yeah, I was going for medium soft. There was obviously the rain that was coming, but in the pre-race bit, it just looked like it was going to be like a short stint of rain and then it would go straight away. But it lasted a bit longer, and yeah, it just kind of ruined the strategy.
Yeah, in terms of strategy, I do have to ask, what was the thinking behind going the 2 laps more on the previous set of tyres before changing to inters?
I just thought the rain wasn't going to last that long. I kept asking Jeff every lap, when's the rain going to go? But he just had 10 minutes every single time, and that went on for like 5 or 6 laps. So he just kept saying it was longer, and it just wasn't worth it after those 2-3 laps, whatever it was.
Fair enough. You managed to come back through and still take away second place. So we're looking perhaps at a few more podiums this season?
I hope so. I mean, that's what you got to aim for, right? But with Matthew here, I'm not really hoping for any wins, so he's probably just going to whitewash all of us.
I mean, you never know. Anything could happen in the Grand Prix. And I will ask you about next week's race in Belgium. You looking forward to that one?
I've never been good at Belgium on every single game, so I don't know. Who knows? Maybe I'll have a lucky race or something, but I'm not really looking forward to it.
I'll have to wait and see. So, but if not, better just get out of the way and then move on to the next one. But yeah, regardless.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, congratulations again to finish in second place, and finally we'll come to our third place finisher, which is F1 Penguin from Mercedes. So congratulations, mate. You had quite a good race yourself. I mean, of course, early fight with Imri and Hypes there. So what was that like?
Yeah, no, it was a good race overall. That first stint definitely showed that I had the pace I didn't realise I had. And then obviously when I knew it was transitioning over to Inters, I knew from qualifying that again I had the pace. So after I settled in that first stint, I was pretty confident that I could get a good result.
It was definitely close in the end, of course, thanks to the penalties that were acquired over the course of the race. Were you nervous about that towards the end?
I was a bit, because my penalty was completely unnecessary. Obviously with the other guys getting track limits penalties and me getting one for pit lane. It wasn't ideal, but just had to not panic and just remember that I had less penalties than those two, so that's all I could do.
Fair enough. And in terms of that safety car we experienced earlier on around the halfway stage of the race, did that shake up the strategy at all for you?
It did a little bit because, like Lemon said, the rain, I didn't expect it to last as long as it did. So went on to a set of hards, which didn't help, but wasn't terrible because there was such a short time between the safety car and the rain. So it wasn't a massive change in strategy, but definitely changed it a bit.
Fair enough. And I'll ask you the same question I asked you two about the next race in Belgium. You're looking forward to that one? Is Spa a good circuit for you, or are you trying to get out of the way?
I'm not entirely sure because I didn't think this was a good circuit for me, but it turned out it sort of is a bit. So I guess I'll just see what happens then. But I can't say if it's good or bad yet.
Fair enough. We'll get a bit more of an indication next week. So yeah, congratulations on the third place finish. So well done to all three of our podium finishes. I will confirm here it's been announced to me that Matthew has won Driver of the Day for the first time this season, so we're going for that in Orion Season 2. So congratulations, mate, and perhaps see a few more of those over the course of the season. So that'll be it for our post-race interview. So you guys go off, enjoy the rest of your evenings, and congratulations once again.
Thank you, mate.
Thank you.
So that will cap off our stream here. Hope you guys have enjoyed this one. It's my first time doing Orion. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I hope you guys did too. It's been very enjoyable. I'll definitely come back and do this again if I get the chance. If you guys want to see me do it again, then let me know. And let me know what you thought of the stream down in the comments below. So yeah, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new around here, in case we do get to have another race in this league. And perhaps any other leagues I do, if you guys enjoyed the commentary, of course, then yeah, just get subscribed to that because it completely free, helps me out. So yeah, so that wrap things off then. You guys enjoy the rest of your... Can't speak. Enjoy the rest of your evenings, and I shall see you next time. Goodbye.